Welcome for this conversation about money, where today we welcome Nelly. Thank you very much, Nelly, for your time and for accepting to have this conversation today together. We've already had one about that topic, and I'm happy that 1 year later I get to talk to you again about it and see how it evolved. Can you please introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you so much. It is my pleasure to be here to talk about this topic. So, my name is Nelly Thomas. I am almost 37. I am a hypnosis practitioner and I am also an educator. So, I'm used to teaching English to French people. And recently, I've just started teaching about blockchain and Web3 and this new technology, which is one of my interests. And I'm also a podcast host. I have a podcast about sovereignty, which is both in French and in English.
And we love that because we love freedom. That's awesome. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about your relationship with money, and especially the evolution of your relationship with money. And you've experienced my course, Make Money from the Heart, a few years ago. Do you remember when it was?
I think it was exactly 2 years ago, April 2022.
And what was your relationship back then with money?
So, interestingly, at the time I was making money, I was in a very abundant situation. I was still teaching English and I had just landed a big client in marketing and communication, which is what I was looking for and had been working towards. And it was very abundant, but it wasn't aligned at all. So, doing your program, your course, Make Money from the Heart, made me realize that even though I was making money, I was, first of all, overextending myself. I was working for someone and for a company that didn't reflect my values, that wasn't aligned. Um, and it made me realize that my heart wasn't in there. And it helped me to recognize the the energy coming from the heart and that this could be a way toward abundance.
Interesting. Was there anything that was specifically challenging for you facing your relationship with money, or was it easy to do?
You mean during the program?
Yeah.
Um, it opened my eyes on a lot of things. It made me realize that I was really focused on making money and that this was a limiting way of being in connection with abundance. I was just coming out from a period of time where I had experienced lack. During COVID and that period of time, I was an entrepreneur and it was a very scary time for me. So I still had this kind of painful relationship with money at the time. And I felt that landing this big client was like, oh, I'm saved. I have I have it all figured out and I know everything. I can, and it was kind of some kind of ego death, being like, oh no, you don't have everything figured out, and you still have a lot to learn, and you're not there yet, and you will probably never be there yet, never be there in your life. So, yeah, that was a big challenge.
Mm, I understand that. I think I wished I was saved by, like a white knight
Of course.
from outside when I used to experience scarcity. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So thank you for sharing. And yeah, so what is abundance for you now? How would you phrase it?
um,
If you would
I
put a
think it's
definition on it.
to me, it's something like a state of being. Um, it's feeling that I have everything that I need every day. It's being in the present, and while being rooted and anchored in this present that is secure and that it feels safe. Um, it's also allowing myself to have bigger dreams, because when you are only focused on moving away from lack and scarcity, you it's kind of like a tunnel vision, and you don't allow yourself to have bigger dreams and, oh, maybe we can buy a house actually, you
Mhm.
know? Because when at the beginning when I was an entrepreneur, I was like, okay, so this dream of having my own house, decorating it, it's kind of, let's forget about it, you know? And when you're aligned and you live and you create money from the heart and you make this abundance from your heart, everything kind of comes into place and it becomes very easy.
Thank you. Thank you. That's also the way I experienced it, even though it was scary too at times.
Mm.
I realized that actually abundance is like a byproduct. It's just a consequence of me owning my the richness of who I am, of the talents, the experiences, and just how I want to serve the world. And then it opens up streams of incomes that I could not have imagined possible. That's the thing that just blows my mind like all the time. Like, oh, I can make money doing that? Really? And it's
Mm.
fun and gets to be fun. So what has changed in the way you actually make your money today? The in French I say robinet d'abondance, the taps,
Mm.
or we can say the waterfalls of abundance. It's actually much nicer than a tap.
Yeah.
So what has changed in the way you're activating the different streams today?
So first of all, I'm not only focused on making money and on working to make money, to earn it. You know, there's this notion that, oh, I need to do this to earn it. Um, and I really like the name of the course because I really feel it now. Like when I practice hypnosis with my clients, um, there's this heart to heart connection, and it's just me being in the present. And of course, it's a tool that I have, but it's the connection that people crave and remember, and that's why they come to me, and that's why what they pay me for. Um, and about a year ago, I really wanted, in this still this mindset of being saved by something. I wanted to become a consultant in blockchain, a blockchain consultant. So I applied to hundreds of works and jobs, and it didn't work. And thankfully, it was some resurrection. And I realized that, okay, I've always been a teacher. My whole life, I was a teacher. And this is something I love. I love transmission. I love this authentic contact that you get with someone when you teach them something. And keep, why not doing that as an educator and educate people on blockchain and crypto? And then things came naturally. Um, this is also the time when I decided to launch my podcast, in which I'm very thankful that you were a guest. Um, and this was so aligned, and I'm having so much pleasure doing it. And this is not making money, but this is building a community of people coming to me and who tell me how much they love the podcast, how much they love listening to it. And this is so nurturing for my heart as well. And this is inspiring me to create more things and in a much, like, each step it's more aligned, you know? I forgot your question, but
But I love your answer because it means you're just building up more of you. It's like I
Mm,
see it like a house or a castle. Let's call
yeah,
it a it's like it's a beautiful castle, French castle in the countryside where you can this beautiful mansion that you're actually building from the core of who you are. So it's gorgeous and it's just being built from the inside instead
Mm,
of being something that comes from the outside that could collapse. I see it as something very solid, and every project nurture each other. And I can relate to what you say about the podcast because I have a podcast and it doesn't bring any money. I mean, I have a
mm,
lot of listeners, but I'm not making any money in this podcast. I
mm,
don't know how many followers you need to make money with a podcast, but I'm not making any. And it's fine because it's creating something else. and it's beautiful because it brings people who are interested in my books or something else which will make money, because it's an ecosystem,
Yeah.
and the more I share, the more I receive, and it's exactly like this. So I guess that's also what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did anything change in your ambition, in the way you were envisioning the best future for yourself as an ambitious person? What has changed in the what you thought was possible in the past and what you think is possible now?
Um, at the time, I thought that I would censor myself my entire life, and that in order to be successful, I had to fit in a box that would necessarily limit myself. And what has changed is that now I allow myself to share my voice authentically and to express my thoughts, um, and that I can create something that is the reflection of who I am on the inside. And as we said earlier, at the time I was, and even last year, I was looking for something outside of myself to fit into. And what has changed now is that I create something outside of me that comes from the energy of my heart and that is aligned with it.
It's beautiful. It's like a flower that opens up. I,
Yeah.
I love this image with the flower. The flower doesn't try to reach out to the bee, but when it opens, then the bee comes. And this is
Mm.
exactly like this. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who is looking at our conversation, and this person would look at me saying, "Oh, but Anne-Claire did it, okay, but that's Anne-Claire," and then looking at you and thinking, "Oh, Nelly did it, but it's Nelly. Maybe they're just different than I am, and I'm less lucky than them, and I cannot do it." Like whatever it is that they want to do with their life, and whatever their relationship with their prosperity is today, what message would you say to someone which feels that they have less chances than we have?
Um, First of all, I would say that we all have a different path, and what we share today is comes from a very happy place, but we all have our struggles on a daily basis, and they're all different. But there's also a choice to be made: is what narrative do you choose to believe? Is it the one in which you're the victim, or is it the one in which you take the path of the hero and you choose to, get rid of the blocks one by one, and maybe in the end you'll find your way to abundance.
Yeah. Oh,
And in the
I will.
worst case,
Yeah.
you will get a journey and you will learn things. But if you remain a victim, then it kind of the story keeps repeating itself.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I can feel that. I wanted to add, but you will find yourself.
Yeah,
You
of
will
course.
find yourself. And if you do, then you're rich of everything that you are. And then you have a better chance to actually make a lot of money from your heart. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
And this is such an exciting journey. Yeah. Yeah. Also, what I like is the honesty of this sharing, because it's not it's not all glitter and unicorns. It's
Mhm,
uh it's it's a deep journey, and sometimes it takes time. And as I like to share also, I'm not an overnight success, and I don't really believe in overnight successes. I
mhm,
think they can be quick, but you can also quickly lose everything. I believe
mhm,
that when you create deep roots, and when you really connect with yourself, then you can have long sustainable success, which is so much better for
mhm.
everything, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually what kind of happened to me 2 years ago, with this big client that I landed. It came quickly because of my network, but it ended quickly as well because when I shared what was making me unhappy in this collaboration, it ended straight away, like very suddenly. And this was another ego death. Like, oh no, what's gonna happen? you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that you are this embodiment of commitment to your vision and to your values, because I've been following you for almost 5 years, I think. And I've seen you grow, and this is so inspiring as an entrepreneur to see your journey and to get inspired at each step.
Thank you.
Mm.
Well, we're in this together. And I
Yeah,
can
all of
feel
us.
that my success is your success and vice versa, because I have this big vision that everyone that chooses to live a heart led life and serve the world with their gifts should be abundant and then co
Mm.
create all together what we want to see in the world. And thank you for joining, because I can only go so far by myself. So
Yeah.
I need all of you. And I need you, Nelly, to do your magic.
Oh, that's
Thank
so
you for
clever.
that.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to add about just abundance in general or prosperity?
Mm, I think it's a journey of courage as well. I like that in your course it's exercises, but there's also tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique. And this has been so helpful as well to release the emotional blocks that we attach to money sometimes, that we always attach to money.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's sometimes it can be scary because it's kind of new and innovative, but when you choose to take this hero journey and you tap to release the blocks, it's very, very rewarding.
It is. Still is. I keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Discipline, commitment.
Exactly. There are so
Yeah.
many layers, but it's such an exciting
Mm.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
My
How can
pleasure.
people reach out to you if they want to know more about what you're offering? Are you offering anything in English?
Not right now, except for some podcast episodes.
Yeah.
And I actually have one on money with an American coach coming up in the following weeks.
Yeah.
But that's it for now. I'm still building my community in English, so I don't have that many offerings. Um, I do have hypnosis sessions, both
Yeah.
in French and in English, though. So people can reach me on Instagram at _ Nelly Thomas.
Okay, we'll add your link. And
Thank
do
you.
you work online?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So anywhere in the world. Perfect. It's very complementary to doing any online course about money, for example, if people were to join Make Money from the Heart and if they would like to have one-on-one session, I think it would be very valuable to release some blockages. That's so cool. Thank you so much, Nelly. We will put your links below this video if anyone wants to reach out to you. And I wish you all the abundance in the world.
Thank you.
À bientôt.
Bye, Anne-Claire.